In this lesson, we're going to learn something really cool. Everything we need to know about pagination in Laravel. Let's go ahead and get started. On this homepage, right now we have only 4 articles in our database, so we have just 4 here. But when you're building a blog that has, a million articles, you cannot just load all of them, right? So what you need to do is paginate the data. So let's go ahead and do this. Let's go to our post controller, or actually our welcome controller, because that's the one that renders this home page. And you can see here we are doing post all, and post all is going to fetch all the posts from our database. But what we want to do is, instead of post all, we're going to call post paginate, and the paginate method is going to take in the number of items you want to paginate. So if I pass in 3 right here and I refresh this page, you can see we have just 3 posts. And as easy as that, that's all we need to do. Like you can see we have 3 posts right here. If I pass in 2, you can see we have 2 posts right there, because this is the first page. And if I pass in 1, you can see we have just 1 post, because paginate is going to take 1 post per page. Okay, so this number you pass to paginate is the number of posts per page you want. Now we'll go to the welcome.blade.php, and I'm going to show you something really cool. So right here at the bottom where we have our pagination, I'm just going to disable this one for now. And what we're going to do is we're going to print out posts links like that. And if I refresh, at the bottom we have pagination automatically. Look at that. So Laravel automatically gives us pagination. And if we go to page 2, you can see this blog post. We go to page 3, you can see this one. Page 4, you can see this one. Just like that. So let's go to the welcome.blade.php, and what we're going to do is change this to 2, refresh the page, and you can see we're on page 4 right here, but then there's just 2 pages. So if you go to page 1, you can see 2, go to page 2, you can see 2 right here, and Laravel automatically paginates this just like that. Really cool. Now, let me show you the part of the documentation where you can read everything about pagination. So you just want to search for pagination, and you can read about the paginate right here. So this is how you paginate, and then you can get the user links right here. So the reason why I'm showing you this is so that you know exactly where to get all the information you need to be able to paginate your data. Now, I also want to show you a method called simple paginate. And let me show you what this is going to do. Right here, I'm going to use simple paginate. And if I refresh right here, look at what that's going to do. It's going to give us previous and next instead of the normal paginate. And all of this is coming from the documentation, okay? The reason why I'm showing you this is because this is exactly where I learned Laravel. This is how I learned Laravel. I go to the documentation, I read through it, I learn exactly what I need to learn, and I implement it in my own projects. Okay, because this appends right now, I'm going to show you how we're going to use the appends in a later lesson. But if you read about it, you're going to have an idea. Okay, so I'm just going to close this off. Make sure you always check out the documentation. And the next thing I want to show you, you can see right here, we have pagination, previous, next, just exactly what we need for our own. But what we could do, let me show you something. We're just going to do art vendor publish. And this command, what it does is that it copies the default from the vendor folder right here and gives us the possibility of customizing it. Because right now, the reason why it's like this is because Laravel is using its default simple pagination template. But what we want to do is customize it so that it fits our needs. So we are going to vendor publish for Laravel pagination. You can see right down there. So we're going to type 13, and you can see it copied from this folder to this one. So let's check out the resources views vendor pagination folder. Resources views vendor pagination folder. And now you can see that we have simple bootstrap for.blade.php, simple default.blade.php. Okay, so this is the template that Laravel uses to render the pagination. So what we're going to do is modify this template using our own template that we have here. Okay, so luckily the templates look the same, but we can't count on that. In some situations, the pagination is going to be really different, so you need to know exactly how to modify it. Okay, so my guess is this is the pagination that is being used right now for Bootstrap 4. Okay, so if I delete all of this, refresh, you can see the pagination is gone because it's being fetched from this file. So simple bootstrap for pagination. So what we want to do is we are going to customize this so that it uses this template instead. So let me copy this template right now and I'll paste it right here. And what we want to do, you have to be very careful. Make sure that we replace everything we have here with what we have here. So let's get started. I'm going to copy the if statements just exactly as they are. So the first thing we do is check if pagination has pages and end if, right? So if pagination has pages and if, then we are going to render all of this, right? So I'm just going to paste that right there, the whole nav, right? And then the next thing we want to do is check if the paginator is on the first page. If it's on the first page, then we're going to make the first page disabled right here, and then we're going to display it, making sure that it's disabled. So I'm going to come in here in the nav, and then if the pagination is on the first page, I'm just going to copy this and then make sure that it has the class disabled right there, just like it does right there. And then we actually have an else, and the difference between this and this is the disabled, okay, and the previous URL. So this is what we want to do. We are going to come here and have an else and then end if, and then I'm going to copy exactly this and paste right here. But in this case, we're going to have an href, and this is going to be the previous pagination URL like this. So I'm just going to paste paginator previous page URL right there. Okay, so that's in the case where we are on the first page. The next case is where we have more pages, which is the next page, right? So we're going to have if paginator has more pages. So I'm just going to put that check right here. And I'm going to say for that, we're going to copy this one, which says older, and I'll post it right here. And then we're going to have the else and then end if. So what we're going to do here is if it has more pages, then we are going to display the next page URL, and then else we're going to display the disabled. So here we're going to have this, and then we're going to add a disabled class right there. Okay, and we don't want the href. So I'm going to delete this, or we can actually leave it there and test this out. So if I come here, refresh, or maybe we should just switch this to previous and next, right? So it's not too much of a confusion. So here we're going to have previous, the previous text, okay? And this is also going to be previous, and this is going to be next. So we're going to have next and next. Awesome. Now let's find out exactly what's going on with the links. So right here, if we're on the first page, this should be disabled, which it is, but in this case we are on the second page, right? So the else kicks in and we have the previous page URL, and we have to remove this disabled class right here. Okay, now if we refresh, you can see we have previous. If we click on this, it takes us back to this page, and then since we are on the first page, this is disabled. So now we are on the first page, which means we can go to the next page, and you can see this one now is disabled and this one is enabled. All right, so it looks like we nailed it. Now I'm just going to delete the old pagination, come back here, put it as 1, and test out our new pagination. So let's refresh, and let me also delete from the templates, which is right here. Okay, so let's try this out. Refresh, we're on page 2. If I go next, we're on page 3. If I go previous, we're on page 2. Previous, page 1, this is disabled. Go next, page 2, page 3, next, everything works perfectly. Oh my god, that's so good. So right here, I'm just going to use 3, and there's no page 4, right? So I'm just going to go back, and right here, you can see we have 3 blog posts. If I go to the next page, we have 4, and we can view the details of that blog post with the commenting and everything. Alright guys, so that looks more than perfect. So just in a few seconds we have pagination, and I've also taught you how to customize this pagination just in case the project or template you are using is not Bootstrap. So remember, PHP Artisan vendor publish is going to publish the default pagination views, and then you want to go into the vendor folder right there, go to pagination, and then if you're using the simple paginate method, it means that you're going to have to look at the simple paginate right here, the one that we just edited. But if you're using paginate, then what you want to look at is this one right here, because this one has all the paginate for the numbers and stuff like that. But our template did not require this, so that's why we didn't use it. Okay, awesome. So that's it guys. In the next lesson, we're probably going to be talking about this sidebar right here. Thank you so much and see you then.